Hello, friends. Thanks for joining me live today. I'm coming to you from Trabuco Canyon, and I thought that even though you might hear some cars driving by, it would be nice to see the beautiful trees and hear the bird songs around here. So, I am so inspired by all the different posts I'm seeing today for Earth Day, and I wanted to just share my love for the earth and for nature connection by telling a story that's dear to my heart about water bottles in the Kalahari Desert. I had the privilege of going to Botswana with John Young and Nicole Apelian in 2011, and we met some incredible people there who are who live in the Kalahari Desert and whose ancestors have been in the Kalahari Desert for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And the skills they've honed to survive there are beautiful gifts that I'd like to share and that I do share through the stories at Earthroots and today with you. So, we're going to talk about water, sacred water, in a place that's so dry. And the people in the story are from the Naro Bushman tribe. And when I was there, we had a translator. Her name is Neeltjie. She's on Facebook. You can look her up. And she grew up in this area with the Bushmen, and so she became from a very young one of the men we met, a Bushman named Xiago. I hope I'm saying his name close enough to honor him. With that, he's such a loving soul. Um, and she was translating for us as we went on adventures and wanders through the desert. And as we walked, he and the other people from the area would teach us about what, the plants, the animals, the food, the tracks, water harvesting, and shelter building, how to make fire, all these things, how to make weapons and tools. And so today's story is about water harvesting and about ostriches in this specifically. So Xiago told us through Neeltjie, the translator, that ostrich eggs, once hollowed out, are the water storage vessels that are easily transportable, and you can save the water in them for long periods of time. And so they're this resource that's valuable to the Bushmen. And we asked him, what do you do if you break an ostrich egg water bottle and you need a new one? And he started this long story where the three fastest runners would come together and stalk towards the ostrich nest. And of those three fastest runners, the fastest runner would wait while the other two spooked the ostrich adult that was sitting on the nest and get the ostrich to run to follow them. Meanwhile, the fastest runner would make his way towards the nest, and if there were 3 eggs in the nest, he would grab one of them and run as fast as he could, knowing that the ostrich would likely see him and continue chasing him, and that if he was caught by the ostrich, he could be pecked with their sharp, strong, huge beak, kicked by their feet, or in other ways get badly injured. And so his job was to run as fast as he could. Meanwhile, the other 2 runners would try and distract the adult ostrich to chasing them in a different direction until they would all successfully meet back at the village once they've outrun and ditched the adult ostrich. And the reason why they only take 1 egg, I'm wondering if you might know. Think about that for a minute, and if you have someone with you, you can tell them what you think. Good guess? It's to keep the healthy life cycles in balance, so that if they took all 3 eggs, then the next year there wouldn't be an ostrich adult, in balance with the other animals of the Kalahari, and also then for producing future eggs for their water containers and food and nourishment. So with that one egg back at the village, they would carefully take a small stone and tap the top of it in a circle to make a hole that would become the drinking hole. And then on the side, slightly lower than that, tap a second smaller hole that would be the air release hole. And then once the egg was cracked, which is a very thick shell, so it takes delicate but focused work to get through the hard shell, they would take a stick and stir the egg and share that egg as nourishment, as food. And once it was finished, which is a lot of egg, it's like 10 chicken eggs or something like that. It's a lot of good food. And then once that was empty, they would take it and find an ant nest, an ant colony, and set the egg with its film of yolk and egg, juice on the inside, right next to the ant nest. And the ants would crawl all up into it and eat it clean. And it takes about 2 weeks. So they'd leave the egg there for 2 weeks until it was perfectly clean. After that, the cow explained and Neeltjie translated that they would take that egg, the clean, empty, dried egg, and set it down at the base of a tree, a specific tree, that they could tie the branches in such a way that it would make an angle for the water to flow down during the next rain and fill up the egg with water. So this is the water harvesting element that's just so brilliant. I could digress, but we're going to stay with this one. So they leave the egg there until the next rain, and the water hits the leaves, and the way it's tied brings the water down into the ostrich egg, filling it up. And then after the rains, the people will walk through the desert and find these caches where they've placed eggs. And they describe that they have about 60 eggs placed all around their territory. And they have a mind map of where they all are, so that if they're ever wandering, they could just stop and say, I'm thirsty, I'm going to drink at this water cache where the ostrich eggs are. But back to the one that we're filling up with water now. So it's filled, and cow would come over, and he'd harvest the green leaves off a plant that has likely some kind of antibacterial property. Nicole Apelian shared with us. She was one of our guides from the States who came down and has been working with this tribe for so many years now. And they would roll these green leaves to make a cap, a lid that would hold the water in and keep the sand out. And then they would bury the eggs, completely bury the eggs right underneath the shade of that tree, and take a bunch of sticks and make like a cage around it with the sticks so that animals couldn't dig up and disturb it as easily. And then it was set. The cache is set, and they're ready for their next time they're wandering out in this area and are thirsty. So I've brought an ostrich egg. I just happen to have an ostrich egg right here. And I wanted to tell you that when they drank out of the ostrich egg with us, they grabbed a branch right next to the place where we were, and it was hollow, and made a straw, stuck the hollow branch straw in the ostrich egg, and passed it around. And so everyone got to drink a little bit from it who was thirsty. And it lasted for quite a long time. And I thought you might be interested in seeing how much water is in an ostrich egg. So I brought my handy-dandy measuring cup. Here we go. This is rainwater that I caught on the roof of my house. So look at that. From the Kalahari to Southern California. Water harvesting with ostrich eggs. Look at that, over 4 cups. That's awesome. So how do you carry water? It's still going to be a hot weekend. What are you doing to carry water around? We have so many options here in Southern California. And I just want to encourage everyone to reuse your water bottles. find something that sticks for you. Like maybe it's a gourd canteen, maybe it's an ostrich water bottle, maybe it's a metal one, maybe it's, there's so many ideas, bamboo containers. Huh. And I wonder what you're doing for Earth Day today. How are you going to celebrate? At our house, we checked out the garden, tended our garden, watered it, and I had a little sit spot today, listened to the birds and watched them in the morning as the sun was coming up. I encourage all my friends out here in Facebook land to take some time and just sit and be with the world around you. And give a little gratitude, maybe take some deep breaths and think about something from the natural world that fills you up with beauty and love, and really just be with that, and know that when you think loving, kind thoughts about the earth, it's received in some way, and hopefully will remind us to take careful steps and thoughtful actions to make sure that we're benefiting the earth in whatever way we can every day. All right, sending much love to you all. Have a beautiful day.